a policymaker by running for the Duval County, Jacksonville, Florida School Board seat number 4. And we're going to talk to her today about why she's running, who she is, and why we should vote for her. Thank you for joining us, Ro. If I can call you Ro.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me.
All right. With that being the case, tell us a bit about why you're running.
Well, I am running because, first of all, I have been raised here in Jacksonville in the community, and my parents just really showed us the way of community service and serving. You know, if I had to say, I'd say I'm a servant leader at heart because that's what I was raised to do. And so after 21 years of service in our Duval County school system, from teacher to principal and everything in between, I've been afforded, God has allowed me to not only teach, but become a specialist, become a early college coordinator where the students got their AA degree, along with their high school diploma, dean of students, assistant principal, and principal. And with those opportunities, along with being a 35-year business owner here in the community, between my nonprofit and my actual dance studio, I've been working with youth and with teachers and education for all these years. And so I did, Mr. Matthews, retired myself 2 years ago. I said, I'm going to take these 2 years and do some things different. And as God would have it, it's just time to go to that next level to continue to serve and to help make some differences and changes in our school system.
Interesting. So tell us, what are the top 3 things that you would hope to start working on once you're elected to District 4?
Yes, sir. One thing without a shadow of a doubt, not even in the top 3, but just the academic achievement. That's ongoing because there's so many things. Although we're a district, every school has a bottom quartile. Every school has level 1s and level 2s, and we need to close those gaps and know the reasons why. But outside of that, first and foremost, I would say safety, and not safety as in what we normally would think, like, just keeping the schools safe, because that's happening and those processes and procedures are in place to continue to make that better in our district. But I personally want to see more training in the safety arena, emergency management, being able, not just having a one-time training for our teachers and our educators, but an ongoing training so that we're prepared. We thank God that we haven't had any casualties here in Duval County, but I want to make sure that we are prepared for, knowing what to do. And with that, having officers in all of our schools as well, so that we're ready and boots on the ground in case something does happen. And that's also in alignment, number 1 as well, with student behaviors and making sure that teachers are able to teach, but also making sure we're meeting the kids where they are when they have discipline issues. Number 2 is definitely the obvious, with teacher retention and students being retained in our schools, or bringing students back to our schools. Teacher retention, we already know the salary is an ongoing saga, with making sure that we're paying our teachers more than what they're worth, because I always say in my buildings, teachers are in the buildings, educators are in the buildings more than they're at home. They come in, they're taking care of other people's children, not only academically, but they become family to those students. And when they get home, they're doing the mundane things to start their day all over again. And then we want to make sure that our students are staying in our schools. We are losing so many students because parents think that we don't have the themes and we don't have school choice, but we actually do. And then lastly, I would love to see, I am a person that sits in front of you that is also educated to teach, and I've been in the educational field, but I'm also a licensed cosmetologist. I also have owned businesses in this community. So I think that one of my things is to really make sure our schools have another track for workforce. We have our amazing tracks for early college and ACE and IB and all of those academic places for our students who are going to college. But I want to see more programs for students who just may not choose that route or may not have the academics to go that route immediately, but they should still have the opportunity to have a career that they can start in school, like APR, to be able to start a career, and then going to college if they choose would be something that they can continue to do. But I want to see more workforce development careers in our schools.
Interesting. Now, you touched on the idea on the matter of academic achievement. as one of the issues. Now, you're going into a school system that just received an A grade in terms of overall achievement, but there obviously are always issues that are moving around. What basically do you have certain targets that in District 4 that you're going to pay more attention to than others?
Absolutely. I think all of the schools, Mr. Matthews, need attention. And one of the things I want to make sure also is to ensure that all of our schools, all the high schools, all the middle schools, we have 3 middle schools, we have 7 high schools, and we have 14 elementary schools. And some of them have resources and partnerships and collaborations, but some do not. So one thing is to make sure that all of our schools have a church, all of our school has some bank affiliations and other businesses that don't mind coming into the schools to help, because that would help with climate and culture, which also would help with teachers being happy and able to teach appropriately, because unfortunately the budget is designed to be able to cover salaries and certain things within the building, but principals don't always have the line items or unrestricted funds that they can use to really, really do things additionally in the schools. And in reference to the A's, some of our schools have A's, some of them have B's, some of them have C's, but whether they have A's, B's, or C's, every school has a core group of students who are level 1s and level 2s that need continuous remediation, that need small group attention. We need that in all of our schools. So yes, targeting the ones who are lower, some of our C's and below, we want to get in there and see what is going on, see if there's other policies that need to be written to help in those spaces, to ensure our students are learning and given the opportunity and the time that they need to be able to learn. But let's not forget that even if the school is an A, even if the school is a B, there's still a quartile of students that still need gaps to be closed in those spaces, just to make the A even stronger. And not to mention, we don't want any kids sliding backwards. We want to make sure that the professional development is there and provided for all teachers, whether they're first year, they've been there for a little bit, or they're seasoned. We want to make sure ongoing professional development is there so that our kids can excitedly learn and continue to grow without any kind of shame and hiding behind what they don't know.
Now, not that you can do that terribly much about it, but there is still I'll call it a contention between public schools versus private schools. And obviously a lot of money is going into the private school sector. Do you have
Yes,
any
sir.
major concerns about that, or any legislation that you might propose up the chain there to make sure that the public school system doesn't continue to lose money?
Yes, sir. So what I said the other night in another conversation is that we need to educate our community, and I don't just mean District 4, just educate people as a whole, because a lot of times we're at the back end. By the time legislation gets to us, or it's in the community, I would say, for those who are actually not necessarily in the forefront of what the policies are saying and legislation that has been written. But we need to educate everybody, because by the time we get here, we're years beyond what's already happened. We're already here in that the FTE, the dollars are not coming into our system, because every child that goes to a public charter or a private charter or a private school, that money is being taken into those schools. And even if their parents decide to return them back to our district, the money is already at those particular schools. So I do believe that we are losing out, because parents want to choose what they feel in the onset as what's best for their children. And a lot of times, private schools are here, church schools are here, and it's institutionalized where families, they may be families and they've all gone to those schools. I get that part. But a lot of times when the shiny new buildings go up in charter schools, parents decide they may want to go there because they're receiving more customer service, or something happened that they didn't like in the public school system, so they're going to go there. But I've seen the numbers over and over and over. When they go, parents call me all the time, they come right back. So a lot of times the schools, unfortunately, don't have certified teachers. Some of them do not have administrators who are level 2 principal certified. I mean, for whatever reason. So I know that there's a discrepancy in a lot of what is being taught to the students and the teachers that are providing those lessons. So yes, to answer the second part of it, we will have to, analyze the situation as I get in the seat, and definitely have legislation written that can help with retaining students in our public schools. Now, the last part of that is it's not going to keep private schools from opening. It's not going to keep certain schools from, opening their doors. However, if schools are public charter and they are a part of Duval County public school system as a public charter, I do believe wholeheartedly, because I've worked in a system before, that more monitoring needs to take place. So just because we're partnered or collaborating, they need to be held to the same standards and the same thing that Duval County schools are held accountable to with the testing and the alignment to the benchmarks in the district. They need to be held to the same accountability, even with our ESC students. So across the board, what we expect for Duval County needs to be the same expectation held to these schools, that there won't be any change.
Now, the tax issue, this is a bit of an aside and a bit different, because
Yes,
a lot of discussion around what's being discussed at the state level. A referendum possibly is going to be sent down that will hit the voters in November. That would basically cut the tax rate for many. A lot of it has been concerned, has been around police and fire in particular. But I would have to imagine that it's going to affect the public school system to an extent if for some reason voters agree to this tax vote, to this to cut this tax. Do you have any concern about that tax referendum, or do you have a position for or against it?
Yes, I in this situation, I'm a little bit, there's somewhat of a contradiction in my answer. So one, I do believe that we always should have the dollars that we need for our first responders. I mean, we have to make sure that we're doing what needs to be done for our fire department, so that they're available and prepared and ready to take care of our families when crisis hit. Likewise, the police need to have what they need. Again, like I said earlier, I think that every school should have police officers in the schools, so that we're just ready and don't have to wait in case of crisis. So I do believe that we don't need to cut those areas, and that we need to make sure that we're sustaining those. On the flip side of it, I know we've had this for 4 years already, and I know there was a conversation about it getting and making it to the ballot. And so now that it is, I'm hoping that we can continue to allow this to move forward. And reason being, our teachers, we already know, again, the teachers don't make that much, but not only are we getting new buildings, and I know District 4 has been blessed with Rebout High School having a new school. Also, Highlands Academy. So there's several ones in our area, and some more to be built. And so that's a blessing. But also there were dollars that impacted our teachers, and so they were able to receive. Some of them have disclosed, this increase helped with the whole, mortgage or a car note. Insurance is at an all-time high. Medical bills are at an all-time high. And if it does not pass, that money that they have been accounting on, I'm sorry, for the last 4 years will be taken away. So I believe that, we need to be intentional and not just think about ourselves when it comes to, I don't want it to go up, another half cent or a half cent where it's already at. But it does, and it will affect a lot of households.
I see. Now, as one looks at your Facebook page, there is there is endorsement. Hey, I scroll all the time.
Yes,
there is endorsement after endorsement from folks like the Association of Black Firefighters and different other folks are around. Did you seek out these endorsements, or did they just happen?
Well, I'm blessed. Let me just say thank you on this platform to any and everybody that has reached out to me. But I will say, let me start with the brotherhood. My youngest daughter is a firefighter, or she's at FAMU right now. She's not currently working, but she is a firefighter. And when they had back when I was at Wolfson High School, I've been at a lot of schools. I've been at 9 schools in 21 years. And I am a huge heart for continuing education or the progression of a student, no matter what they want to do. I was at Wolfson High School, and that was through the fire department holistically. And at that time, there were certain zip codes of students that could apply. And of course, I ran with it. I got a couple students from inside my school, and I said, hey, here's an opportunity. You can do the fire department. I even called grandmothers and said, this is what can happen. And so that was the onset of 3 of my students going through that free program. And I mean, the door, I've been revolving the door ever since. Every chance I get, I'm sending students there because it's a best kept secret. I mean, we don't know what we don't know. APR, A. Philip Randolph, that's why I'm very passionate about keeping that school open and making sure we grow that school, because we have a fire science program over there, along with cosmetology, along with nursing, to be a CNA. So it has so much potential, but it's just kind of sitting, and we need to push it. So that's one thing with the firefighters. I'm so glad that the Brotherhood, I have some really good friends I grew up with that are a part of the fire department. And if I could have applied and carried that ladder, Mr. Matthews, I might have been a firefighter myself.
All right. All
But
right.
and then the other ones, no, I got emails about that. I did not seek out any other ones. We get all of the candidates, I'm sure, receive the same emails as it pertained to sending back our questions and being invited to these spaces. And I just went to the interviews, and I am blessed, and don't take it for granted. I have JAX Now, which is the National Organization of Women. And then one of the most recent is NEFAR, which is Northeast Florida, the Realtors. And so that's another one, along with a host of other individuals in the community that I'm proud to say that have endorsed me as well.
All right. That being the case, you're one of, I believe, 4 candidates for this seat, which means that somebody's got to get 50% of the vote, but at least it may come down to 2 candidates, and that'll send you to November. What separates Butler from the others?
I would have to say that what separates me is my experience. I must say, like I mentioned earlier, I have 21 years of not just title, but hard work, and being in 9 schools in 21 years and going where the district selected me to go. I've worked on task force, been chosen to work with certain schools, with the state when we were pinged as one of the highest districts with referral writing on Black male students with disabilities. And ESC is a passion for me. Discipline, I've been on top of the code of conduct. I've been a part of the teams in previous years to help revise and replan what the code of conduct looks like. So being in various roles, I've been able to, in various schools all across the Duval County. I have an arts background for performing arts. I've had a dance studio for 35 years. And so I was also asked to go over to Fort Caroline, which is an art school. It's more of an urban art school, but I was responsible for helping to get that school off the ground, like La Villa. I was able to go train in Miami and come back and do all the auditions and make sure that the kids, because the whole child is important. Academics is number one, but athletics and the arts is also having clubs in schools is also very important in helping the children to be able to become successful in after graduation. So with all of that, Mr. Matthews, along with running my nonprofits and being able to help in those areas, I think that I have a lot of experience that I can see from a personal standpoint and on the city side of working with budgets and knowing what we need to do to really, really help our schools. One other thing that makes me uniquely different is that I have been able to certify myself over the years, and I've been able to do district accreditation. So I can't do Florida because I live here, but I've traveled all around the country, sat on teams of people, walked through schools, and helped those school districts decide whether we need to come back in 3 or 4 months after they fix some of the things they need to fix, or we actually gave them their accreditation. So along with that and just a passion and following God, I just really believe that I am your next candidate that is best to hold this seat for School Board District 4.
All right. August 18th is our day.
Yes, sir.
Our big day for that, for you to pull this off, at least the first round. If not, we will see you again just after that and have this conversation to see for you to close it all up. Rhodesia Butler, candidate for Duval County, Jacksonville, Florida, District 4 seat. We appreciate you joining us today, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Matthews, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Have a blessed day.